And if Sharon, if you guys want to pull up your presentation and everything.
Yep, I'll go ahead with that. Cool. Diana, Rashmi, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
perfect. Awesome.
And you could get started.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, I'll take this one. So, hi guys, welcome to the introduction to ChatGPT and how it is implemented in UiPath session. And thanks for joining in. So, I can get started, Sharon, if you
Yeah.
can just, yeah. So here we are now, and like I would like to introduce the UiPath Denver chapter. So we have basically this online and offline environment where we all developers, professional and enthusiasts, whosoever want to learn, we meet each other, we share our experiences to the industry, what we have learned and what the future is in the UiPath, and we learn together, we grow together. If you guys have any ideas, you guys are feel free to contact with us and let us know, and we always come up with the ideas which it's gonna help you guys in their development and all. We have like platforms, like this is our UiPath community page, and we do have a Slack channel where you guys can come give us your idea if you have anything to ask or something like that. So feel free to do that. And here is my favorite slide. So I would like to introduce to our team, basically incredible team. As Tina, I would like to go with the first. She's our community manager in UiPath, and thanks Tina for giving us an opportunity for hosting this event, and which is very useful for our careers. And thanks for giving us this chance. And I would like to introduce Sharon. First, I would like to congratulate her as for becoming the UiPath AI ambassador and the MVP for 2023. And she's gonna be speaking about the topic. So thanks for that. And we have Sai Deepak in our team, and he's a UiPath Denver chapter lead and the manager in the Dish Networks. So he's my manager as well. So thanks for introducing me to this chapter. And a little bit about me. So I have 5 years of experience in this UiPath industry. And as UiPath says, it's not just a project, it's a journey. So this is how it's going to be. I will let team to introduce themselves now. Sharon, would you like to go?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rashmi, for that wonderful explanation of our team. And thank you, everyone, for joining our call today. You have no idea how much this means to me and the rest of our team. We have folks joining all over the world to learn and communicate and collaborate with us on our RPA, initiative. So our aim here is to share knowledge, share new technology that comes in the RPA AI automation scope. A little bit about myself is I am a senior machine learning consultant at Ashling Partners. I'm based in Denver, Colorado, the same as our community here. And I do have about 6 years of experience in machine learning AI. And my journey into UiPath it was accidental, just like most of the folks that I hear whenever I talk about my journey. I was a machine learning engineer before, and then when I joined Ashling, I was introduced to UiPath and their products. So to be honest with you, I fell in love with the document understanding side of it. And up to this day, I work specifically on document understanding related automations. This year is going to be an incredible year for DU, AI, ML with the introduction of a lot of open AI concepts, as you may see that maybe on the news, on the internet, LinkedIn, everyone is talking about it. And I think it's a great time to get into it, to learn about it, and to just explore the potential of AI. And UiPath offers a lot of collaboration with OpenAI, AI, machine learning. So that's what we are here to learn today. And I hope you gain a little bit of knowledge on, what OpenAI, the Chat GPT innovations are for. And yep, that's what we are here for. Thank you. Back to you, Rashmi.
Sure. Diana, Sai is here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm Diana Gray, and I'm the community marketing manager for UiPath America, which includes Canada, Latin America, and the US. And we have 23 chapters across the globe in the Americas, and we also have approximately 30 MVPs on our team. So we're really happy to present this topic today. What I would request, if you have any other topics that you'd like to hear about in the future, that you also put those in chat so we can provide additional topics to you as we go forward. Thank you.
Sai? I'm not sure. I think he's not here. We can get started. So yeah, the next line. Yep. So today's meeting agenda is like we're going like introduction to Chat GPT, what it is, how it is going to be useful. Then we can see like the integration with API and configuration and UiPath. We'll have just prepared a small demo of it so that you can, get the look and feel and how you basically can use for the UiPath Studio. And guys, if you guys have any question and answer, please feel free to type in the chat. At the end of the session, we are going to, accommodate that. Yeah. Over to you, Sharon.
Perfect, Rashmi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. So let's get into it. So first of all, the idea of this conversation is we're going to talk about, what ChatGPT is. And I'm assuming our audience is, RPA enthusiasts, someone who's working in the RPA industry, or you just, you're very inquisitive and you just want to know what's going on in tech today. So ChatGPT, what is that? So ChatGPT is a product released by OpenAI. ChatGPT is a large language model based on GPT 3.5 architecture. Now, what is GPT? GPT is called Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It uses machine learning transformer architecture to generate, generate new text from the text that it's trained and deployed on. I would say ChatGPT is a semi-supervised model because you train it and you have the capacity to fine-tune the model. And we will talk about about that deep dive later in this conversation. So to the left, you can see there are a couple of layers, right? So we have OpenAI, which is the company. We have the GPT model. You would have seen, we have GPT-3, GPT 3.5, GPT-4, which is still not released, but in private preview. So those are the models that, that we develop our products on, like the chatbot, which is ChatGPT. You have image generation called DALL-E and code generation called Codex. So if you go to the OpenAI, website, you can see all of their details on, what products they offer and what it's from. So just want to touch base on how ChatGPT was incepted. So ChatGPT is a sister/upgraded product of one of their legacy products called InstructGPT. So they developed the ChatGPT to have the intention of having human-like conversations for human interaction and to provide information and be a host of that conversational context. To the right, you can see capabilities of ChatGPT versus GPT. You see ChatGPT, it's obviously optimized for dialogue. It's if you have used it in your ChatGPT like portfolio, you can see you can just type a question, it gives you an answer. But GPT is just diving into that base model where you can make ability to generate text, you can develop other products. And the whole concept of it is, it's trained on a large language model, just like how we talked about in the beginning. And it has a lot of parameters, and that's how the GPT model is trained. I'm going to get a little bit technical here, just to give you an idea on the base structure of how the GPT models are developed. And then we are going to go a little bit away from the tech side just to talk about why we need this product and what business values we can derive from it. So this model, I actually got it from the OpenAI website. It shows you how a GPT model is trained. So to the left, you see, it's first developed like a model that we would train. This is like, if you go for UiPath document understanding, this is something called supervised learning, where we just train a model, we deploy a model, and that's something similar that's having here. And then the second step, we train with a reward system. And the third one is where we just, reinforce that learning. The human in the loop comes into play, and we can fine tune the model, and we can iterate that model over time. And this is one of the benefits of using any GPT model, not just Chat GPT, is that you can train it over time and you have that fine tuning capability. Okay. So what are the application of Chat GPT? So for us, for a personalization use, you can go in to the OpenAI website, sign up, get your Chat GPT, ask all of the questions, and it'll help you as maybe a virtual assistant and just help you with all of the questions and answers that you might have in a day-to-day life. But from a developer and organizational perspective, we can still drive value from ChatGPT and use it for operations such as improving customer experience, increased efficiency. It's also a very cost-effective product compared to the rest of the products offered, rest of the chatbot products offered in the industry. We can improve accuracy by fine tuning, and personally, I think that's one of the advantages of being able to fine tune the model, not just have a raw model and just putting it out there for you to just check on like to use, but you can personalize that product. So how do we use ChatGPT in digital transformation, right? OpenAI has some of their customer stories. If you want to learn more, I recommend you go in deep into their customer stories and just learn what actually they are using in the industry today. But here are some of the potential use cases that you can use. You can use it as a customer service. You can have personalized recommendations, content creation, sales support, and language translation. So all of these are some core capabilities that you can use if you're planning to use this in a business environment. You are trying to drive value, or you are trying to improve efficiency on your automation. So another one that I want to highlight is that ChatGPT is a new product. So whenever someone comes and asks me, hey, what is ChatGPT? Can we use it in our automation? What is going on? Is it successful, or is it just a buzzword that everybody is saying? It's always good to know the limitations of a product, because it's a new product. And we all know, whenever there's a product release, we could report bugs, and there could be fixes, there could be upgrades. So it's always good to take a newer software with a grain of salt. And some couple of limitations to understand is that ChatGPT could always have a bias. Whenever we have a machine learning model, it's good to keep that little margin of error. And like any other model, ChatGPT can also be biased based on the data it's been trained on. So this can lead to biases, discriminations that we wouldn't know of. And it's always good to have in mind on what biases and what the expectation and the outcomes are. And another thing to learn about ChatGPT is that it's still a contextual model, right? And that understanding of, the semantics of it could not be ideally realized. You can, have a production model of, customer service, and the customer could come and tell you, oh my God, the assistant was very rude to me today. So, that kind of limitations we could have, but, it's good to understand that, there has that limitation of an understanding on semantics. It also has a lack of common sense. It's the model only understands the data that we train it on. It doesn't have the capacity to, like learn on, like other stuff other than we have trained. So it's imperative to know that if you have a model and that like that model that you deploy in ChatGPT, it's going to have that range of limitation. And whatever that it knows is whatever that you have trained and whatever that's pre-trained in the GPT models. And that, I think, that goes in par with the inability to learn as well. And it does have limited domain knowledge, right? Like, I think all of these branch together with that training data that we previously talked about. So as much as you provide the training data and, as much as you customize it, that's how the model is going to perform. And it's good to have that understanding. Sometimes there's a notion, and I get some questions, where you build an automation and you ask, can it extract X amount of stuff that we haven't trained? And that goes to the same for ChatGPT, because it's a machine learning model. End of the day, it will only rely on the data that it has been trained and learned on. So one of the other things is the inability to understand visuals. That is in GPT models 3.5, but the GPT models 4, I think it's still not released, so you won't be able to test it, but that is introducing to understand visuals and have visuals as inputs. But for now, if you're going to deploy a model in GPT 3 and 3.5, it's not going to have that capacity. Awesome. So another thing that you might think about is, there are so many chatbot models, and a chatbot is not a new concept. It has actually been there for a while now. So why is everybody obsessing over, the idea of ChatGPT being a revolutionized product? So ChatGPT's base, I think the whole architecture of it is what makes it different from all other products that are available today. It has that natural language processing, NLG architecture, which is retrainable, iteratable, it can be fine-tuned, and it drives a certain accuracy, which is higher than the industry standard. So that's how it's so acceptable to have a ChatGPT model over any other chatbot. So this is something that I just saw as a post on Microsoft, how we extract business value. You might think, okay, we have this product, but does it really make sense to implement that with a client, right? So if we go and think about the attended users, people using every single day, we see about 13 million users are using ChatGPT. And one of their primary reasons for adoption would be their flexibility of iterating a model and fine-tuning. Personally, I think that's a nice to have, and having that could really customize your client base, your application. You can really customize that. And I think that's where the value generation comes from, right? You can improve the model over time and improve efficiency. And apart from the efficiency, if we talk about the infrastructure of it, we are going to have, Microsoft offers Azure OpenAI, which provides a secure infrastructure system. And the APIs are secure too. So if you think about that governance, security measures, ChatGPT offers that security as well. So here we talk about, just like how we said, another offer that they do is their data, their ethics, and the capacity of having human oversight. and for governance and the security that they provide with their, infrastructure combination. And even with UiPath, that combination provides a high secure environment for transaction of information, modeling, and data. So next, here's a guide to consider when you're developing a GPT model. So this is not actually just for the GPT model. This is for any model that you develop. Some of the problems that organizations would have is you develop a model on a certain technology and you don't think about the scalability, the infrastructure where you use on it, and the data, if it's representing your current production volume and your future of scalability production models. So as a developer or as anyone who gets involved with the process cycle of an automation, it's always important to understand the data. So this comes to document understanding models as well, right? If you're going to label and train a data, it's good to first do that data ingestion and have a representative diverse sample of a data set that your organization might apply in production. And then you can, we'll divert back to GPT models. When you are selecting a GPT model, there are so many GPT models over there. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. So let's keep that in our back pocket. Fine tuning and training. So whenever you train a machine learning model, it's good to see what your training outcome is and your fine tuning parameters. One thing that we want to do is not overfit or underfit the data. So going back to data, it's good to have that representative set, but at the same time, you're not going to overfit or underfit the data, right? So the deployment strategy. Sometimes, if you train and deploy a machine learning model in dev, you need to consider how you're going to get that out into production or testing or UAT. And the next one is the user experience. I think this is one of the highlights of your process cycle, because this is where a lot of humans, business users get involved with the application. So for any application, when we develop in the back end, the business users are not going to have that first-hand experience, right? And this is the only time that the business users get that experience. If you're developing a document understanding model, you have Action Center, where the human in the loop intervention happens and that feedback loop considers. So you need to consider how your user experience happens, and you need to make that notion as well. So the scalability, I think all of these comes back, and it's a good thought to have about how you can scale right before you start the automation, because sometimes if you have it in a certain environment where it's only compatible with the data that you've trained and the model that you have provided, scalability would be a hindering factor when you move on, when the company grows and when the product grows over time. And lastly, it's always good to have ethics and privacy in your development cycles and the way you handle data. Even Chat GPT, they offer their privacy sectors. They have secure sessions on if you're planning to use GPT or Chat GPT models. So it's good to always have that consideration in mind when you are developing. Awesome. Cool. Let's now go to how UiPath integrates ChatGPT. One of the straightforward, easiest methods is the web API activities. I will be giving you a demo on this, so we can dive deep into how we can do that. It's very easy. It's a very simple integration. So that's one of the methods that you can do. The second one is implementing ChatGPT with AI connectors. This is currently in preview, but you can use the integration service to use any open AI GPT model, which is pretty cool and pretty innovative, and you can try it out in preview. A third one is something that I like very much, is the Ask GPT function. This is actually a new feature that they recently released last month, sorry. So this Ask GPT helps you use GPT in document understanding models. So you can go ahead and check this link out. They have a good demo on how Ask GPT works with a document understanding model. You can see that the whole document understanding cycle is taken out with the, not just the document understanding cycle, that the machine learning training cycle has been taken out with the replacement of a GPT model. And I'll add the link at the end of our conversation, right? So okay, what's the next slide? Okay. So just before I go into the demo, I just want you to know how the API configurations happen. Now, you might have a question saying that, hey, if we ask ChatGPT a question, can it be the same question each time, or can it change as we ask the same question over and over again? And this is how we can consider it. You get that temperature where you change the temperature between 0 and 1, and where you can change the temperature to be more dynamic or less dynamic. And the temperature 0 will be the less dynamic one, where we will be getting the same answer every time. This gives us the uniformity and the control of the answers that we get, right? So the model, if you see the model here, they have used Text DaVinci -003. That is the GPT model that they have used to train this model. And the prompt is the question that we ask ChatGPT. The max tokens is the number of characters in and output. You can customize it to whatever that you want. And if you look at the one below over here, this is actually a curl command, and you drop down over here, we see all the models that are currently available to train on, right? So what are these models and why are they there? So OpenAI actually offers a bunch of pre-trained models over here. So if you see the GPT 3.5 Turbo, you can have a max token of 4,096, and it's trained with data only up to September 2021. So if you ask any question that happens after 2021, it may not have like the capacity to answer. And if you use the lower versions of GPT-3, it would only have answers like information up to 2019, right? So this is the differentiation on why those so many models are there. It's based on their training data, it's based on their token, it's based on their GPU speed, efficiency, and the performance speed of it, and the cost. Cool. Awesome. So thank you for hearing this conversation. I'm now going to just show you how we integrate ChatGPT with Studio, right? So I assume you guys have a ChatGPT account. If you don't, you can go ahead and sign up on OpenAI, and you can get a ChatGPT account. This is my account here. I'm going to just randomly ask a question. What are the top 5 songs in the USA today? Okay. Go ahead. Sign it up. So Oh. Okay, so they're giving me the song apps today. Did I answer my questions? Okay. Okay, so let me just get it more specific again. What are the top 5? Maybe Shakira. Cool, we got that answer, right? So what I'm gonna do, why I asked this is I'm gonna type the same question in the studio and see, our answers. So once you get your API, sorry, your ChatGPT account set up, we can go ahead here and we can get our API key, right? So how you go is you can go to platform.openai.com/account/API keys. I'll put that in the chat. Awesome. So you can always generate a secret key. I can put secret, not generate, but you can have this. And it's important that you copy and save this somewhere because you won't be able to save it again. So I'm going to open up a notepad and I'm going to save it. Okay. Right. So once you get that done, you can go to API preferences. And this is exactly where I actually got a screenshot of, the curl command that we are going to use. And I find this kind of the easiest method to, get it up and running in Studio. We have used the text DaVinci 003. It's a standard one, but if you go here, you see all of the other models that are available. You can do curl, Python, Node commands, but I'm just going to do curl because it's a bit easier. And we got to note this down, which is a post request. And this is going to be our API endpoint, right? So what we do is, first of all, let's note this down. You can do it with me or don't worry about it. This video will be available after this call, so you can go through it if you want to follow the steps. And we copy this command, right? Cool. Perfect. Copied all of these guys. And I'm going to go to my studio. So I already did a bunch of work here, just because we have, a little bit of just 1 hour of talk. So what we do here is we get our input, we get an input dialog box, and we have a variable called ask. And that's the ask that we are going to pass into ChatGPT, right? One of the activities that you need to add is the web API activity. Since this is a simple automation where we just ask ChatGPT, what are the songs, that Shakira did, it's going to be a simple one. So we just need the web API, right? Here I've given assignments of the APIs key, and I have given a ChatGPT input prompt. But before this, let me just hover back here and change this. I think I gave an old API key. That's okay. But I'm just changing it since we all did it together, just changing it over here just to see how things go, right? So before I go into these guys, let me go into the HTTP request, right? We add an HTTP request. And one of the ways that you can do is you can actually import the curl command. Go from here. Since I already validated and saved it, it's not showing up here, but you can import it and you can validate the curl command. The other way to do is you can configure, you can either do that and that will automatically update all of this, or you can just type these guys in and validate it. It's up to you, right? So here I have put the same endpoint here, OpenAI V1 completions, right? The request method should be post, right? and the acceptance response is going to be in JSON, and you can customize it to whatever you want, but I'm going to put JSON here. Authorization, make sure you always have the bearer followed by the API key. Content type is again JSON, and parameters are host. Authentication, we are going to go for O2Auth, and it's going to have your API key here. Okay, cool. So here, I just want to mention that I have hard-coded everything, but you always have to make this dynamic and make sure you have that dynamic input here. But just for the sake of today, I hard-coded it, right? So I am going to get this output, and I'm going to name it over here as ChatGPT output, right? And before that, I'm going to get the body, and I'm going to convert the JSON, and I'm going to give an input of the ChatGPT input. And the ChatGPT input is a variable that I created here, and it's a new type of JSON object, right? Cool. And that's how I give these variables. I just ask the prompt to be, ask, which we defined in our input box. The model to be text DaVinci 003. You can change it into what you want. And the max tokens are 1,000. That's the number of characters that we want in our output. And this can be changed. You can change it up to 4,096 characters, right? So once that's done, we deserialize our ChatGPT output. And I'm actually writing that to a text file, right? So before I go explain these guys, let's just run, let's run this automation and see what's happening. Cool. Oh, this is the same question I asked. What is top 5? And since we added, our max tokens to be 1,000, ChatGPT seriously summarized all of this. It gave us a very extensive answer saying Shakira is a Colombian singer, blah, blah, blah. But here it just, summarized everything, and we can, summarize that by, just giving the number of tokens that we need, right? Cool. Awesome. So how did we get there? Right? So we can go and look at our ChatGPT response, because remember, as we defined, the output response is going to be in a JSON format. So we can go here into my files, and I'm going to go ChatGPT output, and we got this full JSON string here, right? So let's copy that. Oh. I'll validate this JSON just so it can be just nice and pretty here. And we see that this is the output ChatGPT gives you when you ask for, when you ask a question. And this is the text that we need, right? So this is going to be their choices and on their 0th index, right? So this is what we have done here. We get the output response, right, that we got here. We get a JSON object out of it, and we go for the 0th index and get that string. And that's how the output message comes out nice and neat and tidy. And if you want this, I will post this code on my GitHub as well. So just let me know if anyone wants this code as well. Cool. Awesome. Before we end and go into the Q&A, I just want to talk about the fine tuning, right? So you can go and check this on OpenAI, where they have their fine tuning for the following models: DaVinci, Curie, Babbage, Ada. And since we are doing DaVinci 003, we can surely fine-tune this model on ChatGPT, on any other GPT models as well. So just know that you have that capability and you can get that. I can copy this code. Oh, awesome. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you once again for joining and just listening out. I'll take Q&As. I'll just go through our chat and see what answers I can provide. If I can't, I'll stay in touch with you and I'll try to provide an answer. But thanks again once for everybody who joined the call. Over to you, Diana.
Yeah, and do you have that slide of the survey? Perfect. So one other thing we'd love to ask you guys is we'd love for you to fill out the State of Automation Professional Survey. We've done this for, I believe, 3 to 4 years now, and it provides us with really great data that we will share with you. And so if you guys can, I'm putting this in chat right now, just take about 5 to 10 minutes and fill this out. The due date is early May. So we just really appreciate it. Again, whoever fills this out will get a copy of the survey. So it's good for you and good for us. And I think you'll enjoy taking it. So we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
So I think we can open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. As well as, you can put your question in chat if you're a little shy. That's fine as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just going through our chat and we have quite a few questions. Before that, I just want you guys to know, if you want to, know more about UiPath, if you're a newcomer, you want to learn, the subjects, UiPath offers a free educational program. That's academy.uipath.com, where you can get certified for free and just get to know more on the technology and more on the development on RPA and document understanding. There are also support groups. You can go to the forum on forum.uipath.com. They are very active, as I've seen recently. Whenever I have a question, I always put it into forum and I always get the support and the help. And I hope that you take advantage of that too. And our network. I'll share some links on, if you can connect with me. Don't be shy to ask questions, to get help. That's what MVPs are there for. So we are always there to give a helping hand, right? And here's a little bit more about our community. And cool. Let me just get some answers over the chat we have. First of all, it's really nice to see everyone joining. I think we have someone from each continent, which is incredible given that this is probably late night for some of you, probably late evening. So thank you once again for joining with, so late, you guys. It means so much to us. One of the questions that Denise asks is, what programming language is this using? So when you say programming language, I don't think, it's really necessary for the base model, because you can program in any language, right? So, but if you talk about the machine learning model, I think GPT is used on transformative models. That is a model of artificial neural networks. So that's the model that it's using on. And, programming languages could be anything. If you're planning to develop on, GPT, you can use any programming language. It really doesn't matter, right? And the second question that I have is, the output does have a character limitation. Yes, it does. So if you go into, my previous slide, we have a couple of limitations, 4,096 tokens for GPT 3.5, which is a pretty good number. It's a pretty descriptive number. So that is the limitations that they have, right? Another one is, what business cases have you seen where you combine RPA with GPT chat? Great question, Luis Phoenix. So Chat GPT, from a fundamental point, you can use it for, communication, because that's what it was designed for. It was designed to be a human-like communication link to gain information. So you can use it in customer service, any kind of support, for creation, right? For, blog post creation, for, content creation. You can also use it for, generation, right? You can generate content out of it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's ever evolving. So you can, if you keep in touch with the technology news over there, you might see, newer and newer innovations coming. But off the bat, this is a great starter to use, Chat GPT with RPA, right? There's another question that asks, any document references on data confidentiality between the user and GPT model service? Yes. I just saw OpenAI have their, data privacy governance questions, comments. They even released, I think couple of days ago, they released their, like incognito mode, where you can just have that extra layer of privacy, but that documentation is there on OpenAI, and I will share the link. All right. I've got another question from Alan Delgado. Hi, Alan. What is the best usage of GPT with DU? Is GPT replacing the out-of-the-box ML extractors or improving the retraining of the model? Great question. I'll take this in parts, right? So what is the best usage of GPT with DU? So right now, since we're still in the exploration page, I have still not experienced, like, I can't tell the best usage because we are still, navigating through it. But I could say that, GPT could be a really good use to use together with document understanding. And that's where Ask GPT comes into play, right? I'll share this, and please go and check this video out where they test, I think it's a government model, where they test it and they see, they use the GPT model to extract information, and they simply ask, what's the first name, what's the last name, and the GPT model tells them everything. So it's a good activity to gain in your document understanding model. And for the question, is GPT replacing out-of-the-box ML extractors? I don't think so, because first of all, the technology is very new. And second of all, the out-of-the-box ML models are a very advanced technology that I absolutely love. And if you are using, document understanding with out-of-the-box ML models, you will see how well they have been trained for, use cases like invoices or, any other documents. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, right? Okay, any other questions? Yes, this session will be on our YouTube channel. It will be available very soon, and I can post it on my LinkedIn as well if you guys want. It'll be available pretty soon, right? Okay, another question is, when it comes to implementing.
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Okay.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to talk about cases we could integrate ChatGPT. For example, if we want to send it to a user, it's a use case I encountered in my daily developer work. So we GPT to write us an email and can use it, and we can send it.
I'm
is
so
just
sorry. The
an
live
example.
line was breaking, so I couldn't get your question. Will you be able to repeat it or add it in the chat? I'm so sorry.
Can
The
you
line
hear
was
me
breaking.
now?
Yes, I can, but the line is breaking a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna write my.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Cool. Meanwhile, I'm going to take a couple of more questions. I hope you guys, are not bored out with me. So bear a little bit while I answer your questions. One of the questions is, when it comes to implementing GPT for organization, do we need to train it with our own data, or is it a blank model? So it depends, right? So they already have their pre-trained GPT models, but I'm assuming if it's an organization, they would want it more to be fine-tuned, more to be cultivated towards their personal needs. So that's where the fine-tuning scope comes into play, right? You can retrain with your own data. There are tutorials online on how to do it. You can retrain a GPT model with your own data, but at a high level, is it possible? Yes, it is, right? Is it affordable to use this application? Yes, it is. They do offer affordable, pricing. Again, that's available in OpenAI. So I'll give you all that details and information on here. You can go on this OpenAI reference. Fine tuning. I think fine tuning is, as a developer, I think that's a question that I might get asked all the time. So I've added that note as well, right? Another one by Ravindra Kumar. Hi, Ravindra. Can we use more than one model at a time? One model at a time. I do think we can, but I'm not sure about that. I will be able to check on it and get back to you. Will you be able to drop your email address to me? I will send you a direct message on that. Any other questions, you guys? The line is open. Just unmute yourself or just type in chat if anything that you want.
Did you see that last question, Sharon?
Yes, I'm reading that by Saju. Hi, Saju. Is UiPath planning an application scope or custom activity opposed to using a HTTP web request model, say to support content feed? Yes, they have. That's with their integration services. It's a great tool that's coming up. So that's something different to the API configurations. And you should definitely check out the Ask GPT activity as well. I really like that. It's very easy to use. So that's pretty good too. So wow, I've got a couple of more questions. I'll try to answer as much as I can. Okay. Hi everyone. It's not a question, but it's a comment on use cases. We can combine RPA with ChatGPT. For example, while sending an email, we can ask ChatGPT to write a nice customized email for us, and then we can send it. Yes, this is, I think one of the MVPs, Nisarg Kadam, he has one of the use cases on YouTube where he's integrating RPA with ChatGPT, right? So all of these exercises can be implemented with ChatGPT and RPA. So the answer to yours is yes. And you can, since this is new, you're probably going to see over time more, tutorials and more, videos and explanations on, how to implement it, right? Okay. Russell, hi Russell, thanks for joining.
Hey, Sharon.
Hey,
Just
yes,
listening.
I've seen your
Good.
answer to Alan's questions. Thank you so much for that.
No worries. Great session, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Sharon, a quick question. This is Rajesh here.
Hi.
Do you know how, if we have to create a long-term memory with this, right? It's session-based memory. It forgets after a certain session. Have you come across where we could create a long-term memory so that we don't have to lose that data, and even months later, I can still ask a question about something that has happened in the past with GPT? Is there something that you can share with?
Absolutely. This is a very interesting take. Can I know what you're defining by long-term memory? Are you talking about the questions that we ask in the chat, that conversation? Is it that, or is it something else?
Yeah, any information I feed into GPT, I don't want that to be forgotten after the session, but keep accumulating that, because in banking space where we implement UiPath, we kind of want to know what the bot had processed a month before and what was the result of it, right? So we keep feeding that information to this Chat GPT. Now I don't want to lose that. I want it to remember later. Either it's creating our own database where all this information is there, and the GPT is using that information so that it can always answer me. I just looking to there was something released called Auto GPT in the market. I don't know if you saw that. They said it had the ability to have a long-term memory in it, but I'm not sure if you have come across something.
Okay, so I'm thinking about, like saving the information that we ask GPT.
Yeah.
So when we combine that with UiPath, we can get that input output details in any method, right? Like in the demo we saw, we can have that input method in a JSON format. We can get that output method in a JSON format. And if you think technically, can we retrain, with all the questions and answers that we asked? Technically it should be possible, because we have the input data, we have the output data, we have saved it. So we can make a training data with that input and output feedback that we get, right? And we can apply that training data as our feedback data set, right? But to give you a more technical answer on, has it been done? What are the other parameters to it? I will have to do a little bit of research on that. So let's connect, and I can check out, to give, to see if there is any, finite documentation that, OpenAI provides to just give you that, like a broad answer, just, how we can do it, and, what's the capacity and parameters that we need to look into.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you. These are absolutely great questions. One of the things, I think we have 1 minute to go. So if you want to see more on this, you have more questions, you want to know, okay, ChatGPT, can we get a demo on, a use case, and how can we do it? Or you want to explore other GPT models like DALL-E, image creation, Codex, code creation, just let us know. Because we'll be more than happy to collaborate with the UiPath technical experts to deliver you a session on how you can dive deep into integrating OpenAI products with UiPath.
Right.
So that's it. Like, I'll drop my LinkedIn, and Diana, if you can just drop your LinkedIn too, like we can.
Sure. I also want to make sure that you guys heard when Sharon said that there is, the forum, and that you guys can ask questions there, which is great, because more people can answer, as well as, you'll stir up some excitement, I think, on the web about AI, and a lot of people are very interested in this topic. So that's a great place to go to ask questions. We have a lot of MVPs that monitor that site and can provide input to you as well. As Sharon Russell is on the phone as well. So that I would like for you to remember to do. And then also, don't forget to copy the chat here on this session before I close it out, because I think Sharon provided quite a few really great links. Russell's been answering some questions there that you might not have missed. So just make sure that you take the time to do that as well. And with that, I'm gonna just thank our speakers today for presenting this great topic. Again, if you are interested in additional topics for us to present on these on this area or other areas, just please let us know. But great session. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you all for joining, and
Uh-huh.
hope you have a rest of your day, good rest of your day. All right, take care and goodbye.
Thanks.